with the titles. Who would be who in the Bible? If they did all that with what they had, then these days really shouldn't be so bad. We can do away with the titles. Who be the ops, who's the rivals? If you could trade what you want with what you have, would you run away? Run away, no.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Fairly Decent Podcast. I am your host, Jason, and today we're kind of continuing our interview series. Last week we did No O. This week we're gearing up for Charge Fest again. We got somebody who I consider one of my best friends. When it comes down to it, this person has been in my corner time and time again. This person really inspired me to be a musician. This person, has gone to lengths to make sure that, I was straight in this music game. There was a long time when, a lot of people didn't take me seriously. And, obviously it's because of, where I come from. And, I might not have had the same struggle as everybody else. But this person always looked at my ability and put that first and foremost. And that's something that I'm forever grateful for, something that I will always cherish. Somebody that, beyond the music has been a friend to me. Somebody that has always, been in my corner. Like I said, I can't ask for a better best friend. We've had our times where, we haven't liked each other, and that's just the nature of the game. But it's something that I will always cherish for the remainder of my life. Somebody that I can always call no matter what. Whether they may have the solution or may not. They have always been down, to listen to me, and that's kind of enough introduction. I got CJ. He goes by CJ the Prophet. I appreciate you for being here
for sure.
With me. Actually, again, I pulled up on you. I swear I'm going to get a space soon. I swear. But yeah, CJ, just kind of talk about, how this whole music thing started. We'll get to me and you later, but for the new audience, because, again, this probably is a new audience for you. Even though me and you have been so close for so long, this is probably a new audience, for you in terms of viewership. So just kind of give people a rundown of, where you come from and, how music started and how music has kind of impacted your life. And then we can kind of, build on that.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for doing this, bro.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me. It's so dope to see you in this space,
Thank you, man.
Executing the shit that you want to execute. So
thank you.
Congrats to you. I'm proud of you, bro. You're killing it. But for me, music is, I was just born into it, right? So I like to say I come from a royal family of musicians, from my great grandfather on down. So, it started playing drums in church at 4 years old, 5, 6 years old. So I've just always been around music. And so, I started off playing drums and touring around with my dad and seeing what it looks like to own your own business, musically. So it's just in my blood, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it was unavoidable for me, and it culminated to where we are now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Your dad, man. Your dad is
legend.
Your dad is legendary, bro.
Yeah.
Legendary. I don't even know what it would be like to come from a family with your dad in it, and I can't.
I still don't know myself.
I can't. And I love your dad. Let's get that
sure.
straight. I love your dad to death.
He's one of a kind, bro.
He is definitely one of a kind. But the man is so musically gifted. That would just I wouldn't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to music. How has you what was your dad's first influence on you that you can remember of music?
Man, I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I'm my dad's firstborn, so I have an older brother, but that's not his.
Word.
So I'm his firstborn, and I think he kind of just took me under his wing. You know, like you're my
Yeah, for
firstborn.
sure.
You're with me. So like I was on the road going to gigs with him and shit. And I vividly remember it was a gig in Hampton down by HU. I can't remember the name of it. Right by the Air and Space Museum. But my dad called me up to play a song. I think it was Long Train Running.
Play a song on drums.
On drum. He tell you, and I was like maybe 8 to 10, something like that. And he called me up and was like, "Son, come play." And I'm like, "What the hell?" Like I only
play what?
Exactly. And I rocked it out. And that was the first time my dad gave me the alley-oop, like, "Hey, this is what it looks like. Like, you're actually good at something. Like, let's throw you in there and see how you handle it."
So you got the applause, and it was like,
yeah,
it was like the full like band experience
for sure. Like the live perform, people out dancing,
Yeah.
and then there's like a kid on the drum, so they're like, "Oh," you know what I'm saying? So that was my first introduction of what music can do for people,
for sure.
right? So like at a young age, I got that, and he just has influenced me, whether I wanted to be influenced or not. Because, you know, you get rebellious too. Like, you don't want to do the same things your parents do. So a lot of times I still rebel. But, you know, he blessed me with a lot early, man.
It's crazy because, like, I remember, like, in 5th grade, going to 6th grade. So, like, you know, they have the little, like, orientation or whatever. So you go and, like, you try to get, like, your clique of friends, like, who's going to be, like, and you were in that clique of friends through
6th grade, bro.
Like, and I don't remember who it was through. It was through somebody. But, like, we just ended up in that same little circle. And, like, the first time I ever heard your name, it was, like, CJ. Mm-hmm. That dude is nice on drums. I was like, all right,
grade,
man. I was like,
right.
all right, man. Like, 6th grade, I had, like, no musical ability.
Right.
I was like, I was straight soccer. Like, that was it. I was straight soccer. So, like...
And basketball.
Yeah. So, like, at that point, I was like, oh, well, shit. He's just nice on drums. Like, that's all I know.
That's his thing. Yeah.
That's his thing. And then we got to middle school, and, like, the shit came to fruition. Like, like the shit really came out. And then you was nice at basketball. So, like, we had PE together. And, like, that was it. Like, I can't even remember our PE teacher, fat dude. But we had him in 6th grade, and...
I forgot it. Mr. Taylor. No, was it Mr. Taylor?
It could have been.
Whatever.
Yeah, but...
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, so no, like, our, like, PE class was kind of like our wind down. Like, it didn't matter what was going on. We was finna hoop. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter if we was on the ghetto cross court, across the basketball court, or if we was on the real one. Yeah. Because that cross court, that cross court through the side room was crazy.
Yeah, it got real over there.
It got so real over there. But like, that was my first introduction to you. So, like, it was like, yo, he's nice at drums. And then we played basketball. I was like, oh, fuck, he's nice at basketball, too. Like, he's unstoppable. Like, it's crazy. And then, so, like, going into, like, 6th grade, like, I know at Heidenwood, we had some, like, really trash music class. Did y'all have the same thing at Jenkins? Or was it, like...
I don't know if... It was just very, like, baseline. Like, music class in 5th grade, I vividly remember, like, doing recorders and stuff.
Yeah,
like, there was
that's
nothing,
what ours was.
Yeah, it was nothing extravagant.
Like, you wasn't beating on drums or anything.
No. We might have been doing, like, little clap exercises.
Yeah.
But, nah, we didn't have that either.
So, like, going into 6th grade, like, you knew, like, I'm finna play these drums.
Yeah.
I mean, if you started at, like, whatever it was, 5, 6, and then finally got to do your thing at, like, 7 or 8, like, you knew... Like, I'm finna play these drums in 6th grade. Like, that was it. So, like, going into that, like, was your dad a huge influence on that, or you already knew regardless?
I think at that point, I kind of took on my own journey at that point when it got to 6th grade. And, go lay down, please. These are my dogs, guys, and they're spoiled brats.
Come on, dogs.
But, I kind of took my own journey at that point, and... You know, he pushed me, and, like, I had, like, practice music, and he would, like, go through it with me, like, every night, and go through rudiments and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But when I got there, bro, 6th grade, I made the Seahawk band, which was, like, the 8th grade top level.
Yeah.
And I was there at 6th grade. So, like, that's when I knew, too, like, oh, okay. like this isn't just like a hobby. Like I'm actually really good at this. So,
For sure.
I was seeing success at a like early rate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But like, I'm gonna go back to your dad again, because your dad is like, again, super legend. Like, surely he had to have been like, CJ, this is what you gonna do.
Yeah, he very much so.
Like because he was a teacher. First, was he teaching music at that time yet?
No. I think at that time, 6th grade. I know he used to work in the kitchen. Actually, he was a baker at BC Charles.
Okay.
So he was there, and then I think 6th or 7th grade, he was working in the special ed department at Heinz.
Okay.
So he was doing that route. You know what I'm saying? But no, he did. I mean, I'm sugarcoating it, but yeah, he was on my ass.
Yeah, because
you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
at the end of the day, like that man is a musician.
Yeah.
Until like.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like until he dies, that man bleeds music.
Yeah.
And so like growing up, like I mean, this is such an obvious question, but I have to ask, like, what kind of music like is going on like in your household for you to like just semi fast forward to now, but like what kind of like music like was going on in your household?
This is where things get weird, bro, because like
it wasn't. I know it's not. I know because I've been there.
Yeah.
And it's not like
Go lay down. Yeah, it was no like hip hop or nothing like that.
Nothing.
I mean, you had your typical like, you know, whatever was popular, your popular music, top 40 stuff. But I grew up, so it will start with gospel, right? So it was a lot of gospel. My grandfather was a minister of music, so like that was like the core root. But then my mother would be playing stuff like Stevie Nicks and Journey and Chicago and the Eagles, everything that goes down there. So my mom was doing that. Tina Marie, like my mom was like, oh my God, that was like her twin, bro. Like, so that, and then my dad, you know, a lot of jazz too. There's a group called the Yellow Jackets that a lot of people will not know, but that's like my favorite band of all time. If you ever look them up, it's probably gonna sound like elevator music to you, but
which I love.
Word, it was super like just. I think that was the first like experimental jazz. I don't know how to categorize it. So a lot of jazz, gospel, R&B, and then your oldies, you know, Temptations and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was just a melting pot of just all kinds of random.
Because I know every time like I've been to your house as a young kid, it's been records or CDs playing over the louds. At all times of the day. And like, so my family was a little different. Like, we had like my mom is from Kentucky, so like my mom's music like catalog is like very straightforward, like country, like Jolene, like that,
or like Dolly Parton and stuff like that.
Yeah, Dolly Parton, Cash, you know, just like these staple country artists, and like you get over like to my dad's side, and my dad, like right before he had me, same year we were born, 1990. My dad had a huge afro. He played trumpet, and
my dad played trumpet too.
He played trumpet too. I know that. That's why I was gonna bring it up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so like my dad, you know, was kind of this like he was in this kind of not P-funk, but like, you know, like really big band, like what's the group that does YMCA?
I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
right now.
That style of music, like that was my dad's junk, like that's YMCA.
I mean, that was a great era for me.
Yeah, like the Navy.
Yeah.
Like all of that shit was my dad's shit. So like, it's funny to see like how our parents kind of like again mesh these like very different styles of music, and then like create these like spawn of like kids who love music, but like in this really weird and like totally different way.
Totally different.
So like that being said, like when did like the rap bug, you know, kind of happen?
Oh man.
Because, you know, it is a bug. You know, like, there's a very specific day, like, when it's just like, I'm trying to rap.
Yeah.
And we have stories.
Yeah, I mean, tons of them. I think I stole my older brother was, Chris, man.
Yeah.
He was very into rap and hip hop. You got something to say, Blaze?
What you want to say, Blaze?
Y'all go lay down, please. Thank you. Go lay down. Go lay down. But I remember stealing my brother's little CD book.
It was just something like this.
Still, yeah, no. He was like, I didn't remember you stealing my stuff.
Yeah.
But the Nas is Stillmatic album. When I heard One Mic, bro.
What was it though? First beat or like actual lyrics?
The lyrics. It was the lyrics, bro. And when I was young, bro, I used to find songs like Stillmatic and Reasonable Doubt and stuff like that. And I would go on my little radio player, hit rewind, and I would write out the lyrics that they're saying. And just write it all out. And it was One Mic specifically, bro. He said Jesus died at age 33. That's 33 shots, 2 Glocks, that's 16 apiece. When he did that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? He painted an image so vividly. And I think that was the moment that I was like, yo, I want to do this. But also, I have to give props to my man, Trey Hopkins, bro.
Shout out to Trey.
Yeah, Trey. He
weekly listener of the podcast. Shout out to you, Trey. I love you, Trey.
My guy. But he really, really, really introduced me to a lot of stuff. And that's when the bug really hit, bro. I had access to that type of, catalog of music. And that's when it really hit me like, yo, I want to do this.
So, like, I mean, me and you know the stories that we have of this journal.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. that might have been the bug too, honestly.
Like
because it was competitive at that point.
We had this journal in what grade was it? 7th?
That was 8th grade.
8th grade. We had a journal that we passed around through. Had to have been at least 6 people.
Yeah.
Possibly 7. But at least 6 people where our dedication to the day, every day, was pinning a 16, a 32, a 48, whatever it was, our dedication was pinning some rhymes into this journal. And this journal lives somewhere or is dead somewhere. I don't know.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine?
But like, let it be known, like we were passing around a journal during class, writing a verse, and then the next person would get it. So it's not like you can think of something ahead. You would literally take off of how they ended.
You had to build off the last verse.
Exactly. And this was in the middle. It was English class, and it was like in the middle of class, and we're just passing this notebook throughout the class. And like if someone did something dope, you'd hear like, oh, like, I don't know. I imagine we got in trouble several times.
At least,
we were doing that was it 8th grade? So that's like 11, 12, or whatever. So I would say that's definitely when the bug hit, because now I want to keep up. Now I want to be competitive and I want to be the nicest one. And,
for sure, because that like, when it came down to it, like everybody didn't have a banging verse every day.
No.
So like,
yo, I remember specifically someone wrote out. It might have been me. The entire Fresh Prince of Bel-Air intro.
It had to have been you.
Yeah, I think I had nothing to say, and I was like, I'm just gonna be goofy. And I wrote, it was West Philadelphia,
born and raised,
and I wrote the whole thing out, and I just passed it on. Like, this is all I got.
Yeah, but it was funny because like the journal would get around, and then like the journal was kind of like a round table. So like everybody knows where everybody sits. So if something like gets written in there,
you know who did that.
You know who did it, and then you kind of all just look around like. Y'all just had that look.
That's what you did.
I mean, I know it's Tuesday, but like, all of Monday and all weekend.
Facts.
But no, that journal was crazy. I wish we could literally go back in time and like preserve that journal, because
just snatch it.
I know that journal has some of the worst and some of the best raps that could possibly come from an 11 or a 12.
I was about to say the perspective of a child
of that time. Yeah, there has got to be some crazy raps in that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So like, keeping on music, like when was your first studio session, or when did you ever think like I want to start putting this out to the public? Because like we messed around obviously in the journal, but like none of us ever really thought like to go get in front of a microphone and push record and like do all that stuff. So like, when was that first like introduction to recording, the recording process?
Yeah, that was like it was like 10th grade, right before like Hero Villain.
So not far
became a
after.
thing. No, not far after. And again, me and Trey were surfing YouTube, and Trey had those old like computer mics that it was like a round base
With
and
a
then
little
just
skinny cord on it?
Yeah, and then it was just like a little microphone.
Yeah.
And we were using that, and we downloaded like.
How were y'all recording it though?
I think Trey found like, I think Audacity at that time.
Okay.
Which was used
Shout
to
out
like,
to Trey
voiceover.
again,
Bro,
with that technology
I'm telling you,
stuff.
I owe him. When I get the bag, he's getting the bag. I'm telling
For
you,
real,
bro. I'm
though.
telling you. But I would say like 10th grade, bro, and we were downloading Dipset beats and like going ham, bro.
Off what, like LimeWire or like Napster or something?
LimeWire all day. And I think it was like 10th grade, bro, and we were putting out, so we had like a whole album in like 2006 of just like freestyle, just bullshitting.
So y'all was on like some like Lil Wayne like type shit, almost like just take beats, freestyle over them, and then just like have a catalog. That's what's up though.
Yeah, bro. Me, LA, Trey, Greg, Dathan, we were in there like writing raps all night, like
not just freestyling, like actually writing raps.
So yeah, we did both. Like
Yeah.
we started recording, and we saw what it looked like. So then we started really writing, and then when we started like writing again, it got. I'm so mad I don't have that music, bro, because there was some shit in there, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh my god.
Always. I mean, you know, both between the two of us, we probably have like catalogs of just like
bro.
lost music. And
Facts.
you know, I'm actually okay with that because like, you know, it's music is one of those things where like you can appreciate it for what it was. Like it doesn't like you don't have to go resurface everything and like
True.
like everything in the time was like it was lit and it was lit for the time. So like
True.
when did you actually like so we've started recording, we started that whole process, like, you know, when do you finally say like I'm gonna put my name on something, and like what was the first name, and like what was the first project that you like put out for like consumption?
What was that album? It was with B-Back.
Okay.
It was definitely with B-Back. I think it was. This was 2009, 10-ish, maybe 9. But I put out an album called Lost Generation. That's what it was.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that was the first time, like, yo, I have a vision that I want to do, and like that was the first time I executed it. And then we shot videos to it with the green screen and stuff, and we did all that type of stuff. So like 2009, and that's when it was like, all right, this is what I'm doing.
And like that's kind of like when me and you first linked up.
Yeah.
I guess like after you put that project out, because I wasn't on that project.
No.
Yeah.
That was literally like as we were like linking up.
Yeah.
And I was like finishing that up with B-Back. Shout out to B-Back too.
Yeah, shout out to B-Back, man.
Yeah.
So then I guess me and you kind of, this is where our story like kind of comes back together, you know, because just to keep a long story, you know, short, CJ went to Woodside, I went to Minchville, and that's kind of where like the worlds kind of separated for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And you know, so we'll kind of like rewind a bit, and you know, around this like senior year of high school, I would imagine, maybe a little bit before, you guys over there at Woodside had put out what we now know is Hero Villain. And you know, that was kind of a big deal, at least for the surrounding area. I mean, I don't know how far you guys went like across the water, but at least for Newport News, like that was kind of big. It was kind of the first time that, you know, somebody that was our age and somebody that was, you know, just as capable as the rest of us, put out something that was a little bit more than, you know, just a movement. I mean, you guys had actual merchandise. You guys had, you know, a movement going. Like, it wasn't kind of just like a thing that was in words. You know, there was like physical like content. So speak a little bit on that, like how that started, and like, you know, it doesn't have to be like a super long story, but you kind of know just kind of like how that whole thing came about.
Yeah. So grade, I used to sketch in my book and not pay attention in class. So like I would be sketching. I'm heavy in I love clothes. I love fashion. So
Definitely, we know that.
so I was like, I had this idea. I'm heavily in love with the yin yang concept.
Okay.
So I had this idea, like opposing concepts, hero villain, and I wanted to do like 2 clothing lines in one. So the hero side was like your formal polos, your, you know, your nice stuff, and then villain was like your streetwear, and it was like 2 brands in one basically. So I had this whole journal drawn up of different types of outfits, and then I asked the homies like, yo, you down? Like I got something that makes sense. Let's make it make sense. And we hit the ground running, bro. And
y'all most definitely hit the ground running.
It was so crazy because there was a brand called Paper Route, I believe, and they had a little kiosk in Patrick Henry Mall.
I remember Paper Route. Paper Route was lit.
It was, and that was the only brand that I remember. Paper Route and Paper Plates. I don't think Paper Plates
never did it like
that. No, they were, but I'm saying I don't think they were a thing yet. So I think I was a little ahead of them. So Paper Route was the only brand that I knew that was doing that, making their own clothes. And so, Greg was drawing up these designs, and then we went and presented ourselves. We did like a whole slideshow to get like this business loan, and we got a business license. Like we did it right, like at 18 years old, 17, 18. So we got t-shirts made. They sold out in a day, and then we just kept doing that, and it just, it was good. It was really cool, and I think it was cool for people to see. Like, I can start my own. Own thing. Yeah,
it was so cool. And I know somebody's gonna hate me for this, and you know what? I don't care because shit's popping now. I don't give a fuck.
Word.
It was so cool that people who had nothing to do with it latched onto it. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of crazy when you think about for like, people under 21.
Yeah.
Like, for people to be so gravitated towards something to the point that they, were willing to do things irreplaceable.
Yeah.
To their bodies and to and to like.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm trying to put it like
somebody got the name tattooed on them that had nothing to do with it, and that's peace, as Flip would say.
So much peace.
That's peace. But yes, it's so people latched on. I see what you're saying. Yeah. No,
which the main point was like, that's how cool it was. That's how cool it was. I mean, you just gotta call a spade a spade. That shit was mad cool.
Yeah.
And like, it was more of an idea than it was a brand because to be honest, like the logo was straight. The shit was cool.
Yeah.
It was very cool, but like, I think the idea of what was going on was so much more cool,
right,
than the brand, like the product itself. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel you. Yeah.
The t-shirts were cool, but it was so much cooler. Like, oh, I'm a part hero villain.
Right.
I was hero villain. I was down as fuck.
Right.
Like, I was down.
Yeah.
And I think the idea of it was like so fucking cool, man. To like get kids from, different high schools to be a part of like one family. That shit was fucking iconic, man.
Yeah.
That shit was so iconic, and it really is sad to like see the way it turned out. And we can get into it, we cannot. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I know the story, you know the story. Yeah. So like we can just leave it as it is. But you don't really see movements like that anymore. Until we get to Solciety.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
You really don't see a movement like that again in our area, at least. Actually, no. Let me take it back. There was a point in time, and I have to rest in peace, Pop. Shout out to all of them over there. But Relaced was dope for a minute too.
Yeah. And
I have to shout out them boys because I love all of them boys over there. Drez.
Hey, shout out Mata because
exactly.
That's his shit, and same shit. Like people latched on and did what they did. So shout out to Mata, bro. We were hero villain and Relays was like this. So you already know, man. Rest in peace, Pop. Man.
Yeah.
They were doing some amazing stuff.
Amazing stuff too. But you really don't see that kind of movement again in our city until Solciety.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we think about like Solciety, I guess this is kind of where the story connects back to where we rewinded. Me and you kind of linked up through Beck,
Yeah.
I would say.
I mean, actually, physically, we were communicating.
For sure.
But we just never found the time to link. And then Beck had a studio, and then he was like, "Yo, I'm about to tell JP to come through," and then boom.
And so, like,
instantly,
I always remember this story, and I've heard you tell it like 5 different times, but it's always the same every time. But it was. You had the music stuff going, and I was just barely getting into it. And, like, I liked what you were doing, and we were already friends.
Right.
So, like, it was seamless. And I was like, bro, I'm trying to do this stuff, too. And he was like, all right, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And so I was like, nah, I'm for real. And he was like, all right, I feel you. I feel you. And I was like, I got on my phone and just texted this man raps every single day.
Pages, bro. And I remember riding around with like LA. No, this was after that. I don't know who, maybe Kai or someone. And like you would text me, and this was past flip phone era, but
no. This was like, this was still like.
It was kind of still that era.
It was like BlackBerry.
Yeah.
BlackBerry.
Yeah. And you would just send me pages like, bro, check this out. What do you think? And this man was sending me raps, bro, through text. Like, and I've never ever seen anyone do that. Like, no, you're gonna like
regardless, you're gonna see my shit.
And I'm serious. And I said, you know what? I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know when you said that, like, I didn't know what to think. Like,
because
you know
like,
what I'm saying?
And again, we have to go back to the time. The time was what, like 2010.
Yeah.
2011. I had just got off drumming with George Mason, and so I was fresh off of a whole WGI. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
A whole WGI run, and I was feeling good, and I was like, I was always rapping. Like I knew I wanted to rap, so like I was like, I'm gonna make this shit happen regardless. So that's when I started sending CJ raps, and I was like, yo, we need to link up in the studio.
Yeah.
And we first link at Beck's, and I can't even remember the first shit.
I was just thinking, like, what was the first song? I don't know.
I can't even remember, but there was definitely like a vibe.
Yeah.
Like, and I think we both had this. I'm just gonna say it again because the platform is doing better than ever. Shout out to 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Shout out to
hell yeah,
3,500 views a week.
Hell yeah.
I can't thank y'all enough. So I'm just gonna keep things 100 from now on. I think we always had this same feeling of I fuck with what we're doing, but I don't fuck with what we're doing. Like, it was always this, and shout out to Beck.
Yeah.
Shout out to Beck. I want to, like, preface this.
Of course.
With shout out to Beck. We couldn't have done anything without Beck, honestly. I mean, we could have went somewhere else, but Beck held us down.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out B-Beck all day long.
For sure. Salute.
But it just wasn't our style of music.
Yeah.
And, kind of speak on, like, our first recordings, like, we were having fun. But, in hindsight, like, how did you feel about, like, some of that first stuff?
The first stuff, we were having fun. And at that time, I just knew that it was most important for me to see what it feels like to record stuff.
1,000%.
And record something and not like what you hear, like your voice and stuff. So, like, it was just, for me at that time, was just, like, getting your reps up. But I do want to point out, as far as you and I goes, like, whatever the quality of music was, the most important thing was that we got shit done.
Most definitely.
Like, we didn't get up and get high, like, and just be high and bullshit. We were getting stuff done.
We would have a studio session for 20 minutes, get 3 songs done.
Yeah, so, like, that was the thing for me. Even with Beck, he would be wanting, to do other things or whatever, or maybe not be focused. But we like, yo, let's knock this out. Let's knock this out. So, it wasn't my style of music, and I understand what he was trying to do and who he was trying to appeal to, but we really weren't in that realm. But we tried. At least we
Most
tried.
definitely.
We didn't shit on it. We tried, and and we had fun. And also, everyone loved what we did. It was always great turnouts, but
Always.
we did what we had to do. Like, this was us. We had a studio space. So
And
let's
I
make it
think
work.
B-Beck, looking back, and I don't want to speak for him,
Yeah.
but I think he would say the same thing.
Yeah.
We were just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't always the greatest. It wasn't always the worst. I think we were just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so again, shout out to B-Beck.
Facts, man.
I love you, B-Beck.
Love you too, man. For real.
So again, we're gonna intertwine the story again.
Yeah.
So fast forward again to one of these like cultural shocks or like cultural like movements. Solciety came about, and that was another one of those things that I would say, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think Solciety was Hero Villain 2.0.
Yeah.
And it showed as Hero Villain 2.0. Like,
Yeah.
I think the shock value and the amount of viewership and the amount of just immediate fan base and the immediate love for it, the shit just took the city by storm.
Yeah,
man.
it did,
So
man.
like because we have to call a spade again. CJ is the creator of Solciety, first and foremost.
Right.
I have never taken credit for that. I was brought on, and I think I was brought on because CJ saw what I was trying to do, and I think it was the most closely matched to what he was trying to do as far as building a collective of artists and just building something that's not a label, that doesn't have a bunch of artists, but it has a family.
Yeah.
And I really think that's what Solciety was trying to be. I'm gonna let CJ speak a little bit more to like the creation of it and kind of like piggyback on some of that, because I know he kind of feels the same exact way I do.
Yeah, for sure. I remember specifically because I was recording with B-Beck before I linked with you, and like I had the idea for Solciety, and I specifically remember you asking me. I think it might have been after the first couple times we recorded, but you were like, "Yo, I love what you're doing. I want to be down. Like, can I join you?" And I was just like, "Hell yeah!" Like, you know what I'm saying? So I remember you asking, like, "Yo,"
For sure.
which showed me, okay, this vision, it is something. It's not some bullshit
Very
because
much
you
so.
want to be a part of it.
For
We
sure.
could have been just making music, but you wanted to be a part of it. But it was just kind of the same concept, man. I was a man at that point. I was out of school and I was out in the world, and the same concept of light and dark and the sun and balancing all this stuff, just like Hero Villain. It was like the same concept, and I was just trying to find a way for that to make sense. And then like our skin color, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So you
right.
have two different cultures, so it's like the same thing. It just all made sense.
All made sense.
And the music did the same thing. Like my verses were a certain way, your verses were a certain way, and then that hook was always fucking dope, and it made sense, bro. Like, so, that was the idea of it, and I was just like shooting darts in the dark, bro. Like, let's see what happens. And
You know what's insane though is a lot of those songs still live today.
Yeah.
So I want to personally shout out to Jake Jones.
facts, bro.
Shout out to Tyler Martin.
Mm.
Shout out to the whole family over there. Shout out to Mike. Shout
Mike.
out to everybody that was a part of it.
Yeah.
The stuff went kind of salty, but I think we've all moved past it, and we can all say it was what it was, but
Yeah.
what it was something absolutely magical. And
bro. It was hope. Like that was a time we didn't have shit. We were sleeping on the couch at the studio. We didn't have nothing. But we woke up every day like, yo, what we doing today? What we recording? And we do shows and sell it out. And that was a different feeling, bro. That was a different feeling, man. To not have anything to your name, but also go rock a stage and sell it out, and everyone's like,
And
yes.
that was the first time that I ever had people quote my lyrics.
Yeah, man. Like the entire venue.
The entire venue. Like, that was the first time that I ever had 100 to 200 people screaming exactly what I had wrote down on
there
this.
you go.
Yeah.
JP from Soul.
on this floor inside the studio, what I had wrote down was like at this atlas of like what I thought was rap, you know? And, you know, coming off of that, you know, we did Shag Fest and we did all of that stuff, and you know, that was all cool. But you know, you found a different vision after that. So I'm gonna let you kind of speak on like that, like what kind of happened like after Solciety and what kind of took place.
So much.
I know.
So much, bro. I don't know. We were.
And we could do the abbreviated version because I do want to do a full episode just on
about
this.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a relationship at the time, and I didn't have anything, and I was just like, bro, what am I doing? Like, I knew what I wanted to do. I want to make music, and I want to see the world. How do I get there? Because it's not doing it, and so I just decided that like I'm about to join the army. And it's crazy because my granddad did the army band, my uncle did the army band, and they told me my entire life, like, yo, you should do this. But I was like, bro, I'm not going to the army. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? But it's just like, it got to a point where I had to, and I had to make a sacrifice. Like, if I want this, I have to make a sacrifice in order to achieve this. I have to. I have to.
Push pause.
Bet. Oh, bet.
Yep. Somebody already in.
Let's go.
Yo. So.
And we're back.
We took a short break. You know, we had to relieve ourselves.
Facts.
Yeah, so where we left off was, you know, after Solciety, you know, life took a different direction.
Yeah. Big time.
Life pulled at all of us, but specifically you, in a different direction. So kind of just recap a little bit and then get back into it on like what was going on, you know, kind of after Solciety and kind of where are you headed after that?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I just decided to join the army band. To me, that was the only thing that made sense to get myself out of the situation that I was in. And I auditioned for the army band, and I got it. And then life just took off, bro. Like, that was probably the best thing that I ever did for myself, man. So I just decided, like, this is what it's gonna take to get the money I need to support this music shit and to go see the world and get the hell out of Virginia. And that's exactly what I did, bro.
Yeah, so like getting the army band, and you know, that kind of led you to kind of what was going on in the world, you know, bigger than music, bigger than, you know, what we had going on as far as like recording and doing shows and all of that stuff. They put you in kind of a hard position, and, you know, they ended up, I don't like calling it like shipping out.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're in the army, that's kind of what it's called. You know, they shipped you out to Afghanistan, and kind of talk about your time there and like what you were doing and you know, the life there and kind of just like what a day was like, you know, in Afghanistan.
Oh man. So I want to preface this by saying I wasn't supposed to deploy because I was a brand new soldier. Like, I just got to my unit, and at the time, I was very just wide-eyed, and I'm going to make a change on this whole institution, and I want to bring a different flavor. So we did a show. I was stationed in New York. We were playing a state fair, and Snoop Dogg was at that state fair. I got to meet him because we went on after him. So there's the army band. It's like he wanted to come show love, right?
For sure.
So I told them that I was a rapper. and they've never really had anyone like this. So I presented a few songs that I thought would be cool to do live, and we did Kanye West "Touch the Sky" with a full horn section, a full like
with the raps. And
yeah.
everything.
So I got off. No, Sergeant Johnston, he was playing drums, but I was the front man, and I performed in an Army uniform, and we did it, and it was so dope. And the Army never saw anything like that. And when that happened, my commander, she said, "Yo, you're coming to Afghanistan with us." And I was like, "What? Excuse me?" Like, I was not trying to deploy, but she said, "There's a whole different thing happening right now, and we need to take that with us downrange." And so that's how I ended up deploying. They already had orders cut, but they cut me in to take me out there. And so I was like, all right, well, shit, I guess this is where it's going. But I say that to say it's crazy that rap made that a thing. It
sure.
made that happen, the shit that we were doing before I joined. So that was cool, bro. But I get to Afghanistan, and we were there. They were at war. I can't even remember with who at the time, but we were there to help them train and help their army become sustainable. So we were there to just sustain. So
is that like full combat training, or like what kind of training?
Yeah, like weapons training. We were giving them like American weaponry and like teaching them how to use it and basically teaching them how to defend themselves, which is what our country kind of plays. That's what we do throughout the world. We, one of the wealthiest countries and all this kind of crap. So our day to day, people were there for combat. We were there for support. So my day to day, we would pull security and secure the gates where people were coming in and out of and stuff like that. But we were also playing music for like we would go outside of the camp. And a lot of people who deployed, they didn't even get to go outside of wherever we were camped at. Like they didn't get to go see Afghanistan.
Right.
We were jumping on helicopters and going to local communities and literally playing for these third world countries. Like people were living in caves. People didn't have Wi-Fi. They didn't have none of that shit. Like they were living in mountains and shit. And we would set up, and it was like holiday time. It was during the holidays. So we would go play for them, man, and just make an impact. And that's when I really started to understand how valuable music is,
For sure.
So it was just life changing, bro. People, you think of Afghanistan, you think of war and all this crap, but like, it was such a beautiful country, man.
There's real people out there.
Yeah, man.
It's not like, you touch the ground with your guns blazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, you're there to teach people who live there and people who, are a part of this life there. It's not like you touch the ground and weapons are the first thing on your mind. It's kind of like we're here to help.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to that whole like old saying that like music is this like universal language. So like speak on like how like some of those performances I know probably changed people's lives, not just for, the joyness that brings music, but like a hope in people's lives. So like talk about like some of the change that you just saw like firsthand in some of these performances.
So a lot of it too was giving hope to our soldiers too that had been there for so long away from their families. So we would come play songs that were home, and it just made them feel good. You know what I'm saying? And they would hear songs from back home that they haven't been able to hear or whatever. And it just gave them this drive, a huge morale boost. Like we're all in this together, and
for sure,
music is the thing that brings us joy. And then I remember one gig we were playing out in some community, and these little kids, they just took a liking to the drums, and they just were standing behind me like, oh, look at that. So I just gave them a pair of drumsticks and like, yo, come play on this stuff with me, and they just be tapping on it, and they're just so happy. They don't know what this is. But I would imagine that I was able to impact their lives, and like this is something else you can do. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I would imagine we brought hope to these people that don't have access to things, man, and it just gave them. There are good people in the world, and I think we brought that to them.
That's so awesome, man.
Yeah,
like again, because we've been at war and we've been at, conflict with, some of these countries for like so long that
Yeah.
you just build this wall of like, oh shit, you're going to Afghanistan, like
Yeah.
you better have your guns ready, locked and loaded, ready to shoot. And it's like that is the case, but
Yeah.
that's not always the case.
Mhm.
And I know, just because again we've been friends for so long, that that's not always the case. I mean, some nights you go to sleep and there's bombs,
Yeah.
overhead. So I don't want anybody to get it twisted where it's like,
Yeah.
you just go over there and you just play music and the shit's all fucking happy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of times when the conflict is right there.
Yeah, I had a few instances, bro.
Yeah.
A few instances. We had some suicide bombers try to get through the gate. I had just finished my shift, and that same gate, someone came through on a little moped and, did that whole thing, which was fucking scary. We were in a helicopter one time and going through the mountain.
People
and
start shooting at you and stuff.
Started shooting at us, and then the gunners shot them down, and So it would, in the midst of bringing joy to people, like, we still had to deal with that. So
Most definitely.
be clear, like, shit is real out there, you know. But just try not to focus on that, because sometimes people don't know anything else, and you can't blame them for that. You know what I'm saying?
And and I think sometimes, like, I mean, we all get distracted with our things, social media or video games, or sometimes a distraction is good. And I'm sure like part of what you were there to do is like provide a semi distraction to everything that's going on. But like I said, we're gonna save some of this for another episode, because we are going to spend an entire episode on just that portion of your life. So you come home from Afghanistan, and you come home to Richmond, or you come home back to New York?
Yeah, back to New York. Back to New York. And then I had like a month of leave time. So, I came back to Virginia for that time. And I I came straight home to, because my grandfather passed. That's why I had to leave early, and I had got a Red Cross message. And that's a whole story that I don't know if I've ever even told you. My journey back from Afghanistan was fucking crazy, and I was all by myself.
That's where you got stuck.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we're gonna say that. We're gonna say that, because I know part of the story that where you got stuck, and that stuff is really, really scary.
Bro.
When you get stuck somewhere and you don't know the language and you don't know exactly what's going on. You tell them telling you you're gonna be there for 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever the case may be. And you just have no idea what's going on, because you can't really communicate with the other side. But so you get back to New York. So like, how do you get back down here to Richmond?
I was actually about to get out of the Army. At that point, I was like, all right, I got the money, I got in, I got, all this stuff. And I was like, all right, it's time to go. And I was about to move to LA. Like, I had put my security deposit down on the crib, and I had a plan. I was going to go out there with my homie Dan Quay. Shout out to Dan Quay.
Shout out Dan Quay.
And then one of my first sergeant was like, hey, I think you should stay in. I think you can make change here. If I can get you back to Virginia, would you be willing to stay? And I was like, well, where at? And he said Fort Lee, which is basically Richmond. And you get like a very nice bonus if you re-enlist and you can go home. So I said, let me make a grown-up decision. I'm going to stay in. I can go back home, be far enough away from home to where I have my own. And I just decided to come down to Fort Lee. And that's about the time I met my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. And I was like, I'm going to make a life that way. And, LA can wait. And I think that was just God saying, hey, not yet. There's still some things to do. So then, I came to Fort Lee, and then that's really when everything took off.
And that's kind of like where me and you reconnected, because I came and stayed with you.
You helped me move into my crib. And everything.
I helped you do all that. But I also came and stayed, while you were in Petersburg.
Yeah.
And, that was a different situation altogether.
Yeah.
So at this time when you're in Petersburg, and you're, getting out, or currently in, but like trying to also get out, where does music like kind of fall into this situation? Because I know you don't just leave, go to the army and forget about this stuff that the stuff that we were doing was, again, monumental.
Right.
As far as, music goes for at least our area.
Yeah.
I can't speak for a national market or whatever, but at least for, the reachable people, what we were doing was monumental. So like, where does music fall back into this like Petersburg life, and like, do you get back in the studio, or like what's kind of going on in your head, like as far as music goes?
It was just like it's time now.
Definitely.
But to be fair, when I was still in Fort Drum, after I got back from Afghanistan, I had like a good lump sum of money. Like I went and got studio equipment again. So I was in my barracks room, like recording. Like I put out an album called the Solciety Project right before I moved back, and that kind of gave me my fuel. It was like a SoundCloud album, which is an amazing album. I had people up there that I Grammy, you know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy.
Sure.
So that was the fuel for me. So when I got here back to Virginia, it was like, all right, it's time. So I set my studio up in my loft in Petersburg, and I got to it, and I just started recording, and then coming out here to Richmond, networking. A couple people I knew, and I just been blessed to get back on the scene out here,
For sure.
So at that point, it's just like, all right, sharpen your sword and let's go, and that's all I've been doing.
So like, fast forward, we're on this new generation of CJ the Prophet, which I love more than anything we've ever done. Anything that like we could have contrived, it's something that we've always done, but I think you finally put it into, a physical form with like this pack of Loosies. So like, which one comes first? Because, I get lost in the translation just because of, some, like, lives go two different ways, and then they come back perfectly like they are right now.
Yeah.
But, so you start recording music, Solciety Project, cool, SoundCloud album. When does the Contrice album come first? Is that the With Love album, or is it before that?
There was actually an album before With Love called The Prophet that I did while I was still in the Army.
Okay.
Like right at the end, I did this album, and it was taken down from TuneCore because I didn't understand the whole streaming
That's
thing.
the TuneCore beef.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to know what this TuneCore beef is.
I didn't understand.
I've been hearing this TuneCore beef, and I'm like, what the fuck has TuneCore done?
Yeah, it's that's where you
Was it like sample reasons? Or?
No, it was you have to annually pay to keep this thing up here. And I was just none the wiser. And so like the year had went by, and they didn't send
So you
me
were like past due on.
Yeah, and they just took it off. And you can't even I'm gonna remaster that one at some point, because that album was amazing. So I did the Prophet album, and that was me getting my feet wet playing the distribution game.
Yeah.
Put it out, saw that there was money that came back.
Yep.
So I was pushing that. And then I got out of the Army, and I just felt this weight come off, clarity, the smoke is gone, let's go. And I did With Love, which set the tone. It just set the tone. So
and that's like 2020, 2019?
Yeah. One of them. I honestly
2018 probably?
No, I think it was 20. No, this was before COVID.
So
definitely before COVID.
Okay, so our divide, again, for anybody who doesn't know, is I moved to Northern Virginia to pursue teaching and, to just get out of the same way, you need to separate yourself from Newport News. I elected to, move to Northern Virginia, and at this time I was teaching high school percussion and writing a lot of music for high schools, and doing indoor programs and all this kind of stuff. So that's where the divide kind of happens again, and then now we kind of marriage back again. Pause.
Yeah.
But
it's like a blur, bro.
It is.
It's really a blur.
So like, I'll just skip it to the With Love album. So this is kind of your second. I
would say that's like the debut. I would say
that's what I would say too.
For sure.
That's why I would
I like invested in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So like the recording process of that all in house.
Yeah, in house, and bro, man, I've been blessed. I met this band called Butcher Brown, who's like,
Shout out Butcher Brown.
bro, my guys, bro. I was reaching out to them.
I love Butcher Brown.
Bro, they're
phenomenal.
The homies, bro. The homies. They're Richmond royalty, Virginia royalty.
Absolutely.
But I reached out to them with a bunch of ideas, and they just sent shit back like, hell yeah, I got you. And that's when it all started clicking. Like, yo, I know some amazing people. What I'm doing is actually great, and it's quality. And so they helped me out with that a lot. All of that was in house. I mixed mastered all that, and had some amazing. Shout out to Stout, this female vocalist. She is a fucking legend. She sang on the outro of that album, multi-Grammy Award winner. And she just closed the album out amazingly, bro. And
shout out to Stout.
Shout out to Stout, and shout out to Daru Jones, who played drums on one of the joints on that joint.
I know that name.
Yeah, he's a legend in hip hop, bro. If you know, you know. So yeah, it was all in house. I reached out for some amazing features and some help to get it done, and we got it done. And then we did the album release event in Norfolk, Virginia, with Calvin, and that just set the tone. And it's just been literally an incline.
Shout out to Calvin.
Shout out to Calvin, man. I miss you, dog. I'm gonna come
Calvin
see
Clark,
you.
we see you, man.
Yeah, bro. My guy. But yeah.
Yeah, so at this point, have you built this relationship with this Richmond community?
Mm-hmm.
Because now the shows are just lined up.
Yeah.
But back then, is this when you're starting to build a relationship with this community,
Mm-hmm.
or are you still trying to like knock on the door, or like how is this transition? You know, from moving back here, recording yourself, getting all these dope people together, making this music. Like, when does that connection happen?
I think after With Love was made, because that's when I really started doing shows out here, and that's when I met Noah, who was another pivotal person who brought me onto the scene and stuff and gave me opportunities. But yeah, that would.
Wait, pause there. How does this connection happen? Is that through like social media?
Noah?
Or yeah,
bro. So I went to a random rap. Harsh was performing, actually. Shout out to Harsh.
Shout out Harsh.
Yo, he actually connected me with a lot of people too. And if you're not tapped in with Harsh, bro, he's a fucking legend. But I was at a show at the Hofheimer. It was called the Dark Room at the time, and Noah was performing. And I saw the reactions around him, and I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? And I'm in there arrogant, like, bro, y'all don't even know who I am. And Noah was rapping. And he was a Filipino guy. And, you know, my mother's, like, technically Filipino.
Speak about
like,
it.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, shit, okay. So I saw him. And then I went to this private Pusha T event in Norfolk. Me and my little brother and Harsh. It was for his artist from Petersburg. I don't remember the kid's name. But it was a private event, and I was in the VIP section with Pusha, with whatever, and Noah was there by himself. So I walked over to him and was like, yo, you from Richmond? He was like, yeah, what's up? You know, and I was like, bro, I saw you perform at the Dark Room. I just want to give you props, bro. You were amazing. You killed that shit. Introduced myself. I might have gave him a card, or we followed each other. And then ever since then, locked in. Just locked in. Like, that's my brother, dog. And, like, it just happened organically. It happened organically, bro. Because we were supposed to meet, and we met, you know?
I love that. And, like, you know, fast forward to now, you know, I've also linked with Noah.
Hell yeah.
And did an interview last week, and it was very organic and very, you know, just an easy conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that dude has such, I don't even know what the word is, stability maybe, like, or comfort, like, in his own,
that's the perfect
exactly what he's got going on. And, you know, meeting people like that is so refreshing, because that's exactly how we are. You know, like, nothing is forced, nothing is, like, you know, super artificial, nothing like has to deal with followers or following. Like, everything is just on a,
are you a good person or not?
Are you a good person, on a very much human being like aspect of relationships. And I just, those kind of relationships to me mean more than, you know, anything else. But you know, so then we get to the, what are we on? we're on the With Love, and then
Yeah.
from there we go to Evolve.
So no, there was a couple Loosies before Evolve. I think there was 4 Loosies.
So that's where the first 4 came through.
Yeah. So the first 4 Loosies was just
And those came out in the span of a
that
year.
was 1 year. I put
One
all
year,
4 out,
yeah.
and I mean maybe 6 months within each other.
Yeah.
But that Lucy started off as like, yo, I have. So I got With Love, which was a crazy conceptualized album. What's my next conceptualized album?
What can I do with this music that I have just sitting around?
Literally. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put all this shit out. And I don't know. I'm sure I came up with the idea, but it was just like, we're gonna do a pack of Loosies. They're gonna be.
I'm
all
sure the
Loosies.
idea has been done before, but
Right.
regardless,
Yeah.
it was your interpretation
For
of
sure.
the idea.
And then the name was just so cool, like a pack of Loosies.
Yeah.
Like it's literally a pack of Loosies. So
Anybody who's ever been to Red Barn in Newport News knows that you
you
can
know about
get
that shit.
a
Yeah.
Lucy for 25, 2 for
Facts.
50.
Facts. Legends, bro. Shout out to Red Barn.
Shout out to Red Barn. But so you get to these Lucy's
Mm-hmm.
and you're just flying them out basically.
Literally, bro.
Like-
and then like doing shows for each one too, and it's just
So at this point, it's just like artwork and songs.
Yep.
There's no promotion. There's no rollout. There's no nothing. It's just, yo, I got mad songs. Here's 1. Here's 2.
Yeah.
Here's 3. Here's 4 type shit.
And it was also like, hey, look how serious I am.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
like I'm dead ass. So here we go, 40
Like
songs.
even my
boom.
throwaways are bangers. Y'all gonna hear
Exactly,
this shit.
Exactly.
That's
so,
what's
yeah.
up.
Yeah. And then Evolve came, and that, yeah. I love that fucking album, bro.
I love that album too, man. And you know, I had to play catch up on that album
Mm-hmm.
just because the way that our paths, you know, turned 2 different ways and then had to cross back. I love that album.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
To me,
Go lay down.
you know, over the past, I would say, so from Evolve, we have what, 5, 6, and then now is going to be 7.
7, yep.
Each have increasingly got better. I don't know any other way to say it, but like, you have for sure hit your stride as far as this music goes. And I don't want to ask the question of like what keeps you inspired, because I know just music, just knowing you for so long, music in general just inspires you.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be like super in depth, but like, you know, going into, I would at least say 6. Like this pack of Lucy shit is not for play anymore.
No, it's not, bro.
It's not just Lucy's anymore.
When 6 happened, because 5, be clear, 5 was me. I wanted to revisit all the shit we had.
For sure.
You know, so and I felt it deserved to be heard on that type of platform.
Most
so
definitely.
It was like 30 songs, something like
Shit
that.
was long.
It might have been 40, and 5 is just, you know, revisiting all the old shit. So I just threw that out to get ready for 6, and then when 6 happened, I met Profound 79. That's my big brother, bro. Like that's one of my best friends out here. He just took me under his wing, bro, and we just hit the ground running. And that's been the best reception I've ever had for an album. Like it's a breathing organism at this point.
That's what I say. Like 6 is definitely the turning point of like, okay, these are not just Lucy's anymore. These are now concise.
Yeah.
These are very much not thought out.
Right.
But these are very much like, when I make this song, this shit's going on Pack of Lucy's.
Yeah.
This is no longer like, I'm just going to record
Throwaways.
30 songs for an
Right.
album, take 10,
Yeah.
and then the other 20, I'm just going, like, that's not what it is. Where did that change happen?
I think when I made a decision that, you remember like when J. Cole was making his own beats, and,
For sure.
and people were like, I'm sleepy,
Yeah.
and he started working with other producers.
Yep.
That it was kind of that, and I was like, you know what? I make beats, and I feel like maybe they're not translating well enough because you have your own vision on how things should sound.
For
so I
sure.
was like, yo, I want to work with another producer, and that shit just happened. So I think once I stepped outside of that comfort zone, once you just take that sacrifice, and you work with someone else who's like a genuine person, things click. You know, because we're not supposed to be here alone. We're not supposed to do shit alone at all on this earth. We're supposed to,
For
you
sure.
know, community. And I think that's when it took a turn, is when I just stepped outside of that box. Like, yo, let me work with someone else. who's a well-established producer. Like, the list can go on with the credentials this guy has.
Shout out Profound.
Shout
man.
out Profound, bro. You know
Yeah.
what it is, bro. Come on, man.
And that conversation is up next.
Yeah, yeah. Look
I
out for
cannot
that.
wait to sit down with him and you together and,
Yeah.
kind of just cut the mics on and let y'all
Cut
talk.
the shit. Yeah, we're about to. Yeah, that's gonna be fun, man.
Because I would consider you I would say my best friend.
Yeah, for sure.
But when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm more of a fan. So like,
That's crazy.
just cutting on the mics and letting that happen, is going to be something that is a blessing for me, not only, for the channel, but just for fucking hip hop and like for conversation in general, because I know like shit is a lot deeper than just like
yeah, bro.
inside the Instagram messages like, yo, send me a beat, yo, I'm gonna rap on like, I know the shit.
We're gonna get to it because there's a lot of shit to unpack for real, and we gonna open that shit up and tell y'all about yourselves. Like, for real. For real.
And sometimes that conversation just needs to be had, and
it does. Yeah.
In 2024, this moving forward, I don't know how to tell y'all, but it's gonna be way bigger than you ever thought this was gonna be. This idea of the podcast started out when I was in the hospital, and I had this idea always, and CJ can attest to this, that I've always had this idea of a podcast, and I just never really had anything to talk about. That was outside of what was already being talked about. And, I don't want to chalk it up to, having my liver transplant as, what led to this, but it was certainly an avenue that, sitting in the hospital and, you can't eat food, you can't drink water. The best thing you can have is ice chips, and you're just sitting staring at like, the ceiling and looking at the lights, and, your mind starts to go to, really different places as far as like who you want to be as a person and who you want to represent and like what you want to speak about. And, I just found this lane, and so I can't thank the people enough, in my life, CJ, tons of others. I could go on for days. I'm not going to, because I still have a couple questions. But, we get to these Loosies albums, and, you send me 7 the other day, and the shit's incredible, man. And I think it's more incredible because I'm going to toot my own horn. I was one of the very few individuals that got to see it happen in real time. And, a lot of times you get to see albums happen in real time, like if you're on the album,
right?
Or if you have something to do. I have nothing to do with this shit, and I got to see it happen, through the Instagram lives,
right?
Through the private conversations. So like going into it, like just talk about, Pack of Loosies 7 and how this is a shift from Pack of Loosies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of created the shift, but 7 is, I would call this an album.
Damn.
This is an album, bro.
That's crazy to hear, bro. Because I'm still looking at it as,
it's
maybe
not.
Because I've been sitting on it so long. You know how I am.
I know.
But it's just like a bunch of throwaways.
It's not throwaways.
Yo, this album is special because it's like, hey guys, I produced too. Like, let's not forget. So let's
that's
bring
where
it
you're
back.
at with this one.
Yeah. So I have some guest producers as well, but I think I produce 50% of it, and then I have guest producers. But to me, it's like, yo, a lot of these are my beats, and these are beats that I've just been sitting on that I thought would never be anything, and people like.
There's no shot that you in the song that you have with Theory.
Yeah.
There's no shot you made that beat and said, nah, this ain't gonna be nothing.
I swear, bro.
Bro, there's no way.
I didn't know. Because especially coming out of 6, like that was very boom bappy. And that beat, I was just like, bro, I don't know. And in theory, it was like, bro, hit record, let's go. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we
Yeah.
started that in Richmond at the studio. Shout out to the center.
Yeah, because that's when I heard it first.
Yeah. We started that
before
there.
it had any verses, before the beat was kind of
It
like
was just a hook.
modularized or anything.
Yeah,
Like,
Theory just put that hook down and freestyled it. And then we finished in LA, which was crazy. But, you know, this album is very special because I got some of my oldest friends, like, you know, my man Tough Stone, my man Sad Boy. These are the hero villain guys, right? So we actually have something on wax now. So it's just this album is very sentimental and special to me. And shout out my man Ronnie Black, who was a part of a lot of this stuff too, bro. I don't even know where this man's in the shadows. I don't know where he is right now, but he'll pop out and help me do music and then leave. So 7, I'm taking another pivot and we're going another direction. But what I've been hearing is that this is a perfect album to just have on in any type of setting. You can just have it on.
Yes.
You know? 6. You kind of, I feel like you want to have that on while you're working out or you're trying to motivate
6
yourself.
is one of those ones that, you know, if you're on the fence of, do I want to do something or do I not want to do it?
Yeah.
If you throw 6 on, if you truly want to do it,
you're going to do that shit.
You're going to do that shit.
Yeah, facts. And if you rap, like, I feel like that album makes you want to rap.
It makes you
I
want to
don't know
rap.
how many people was like, damn, I wish I had that beat. You know what I'm saying?
I don't need to rap anymore. And his CJ like, yo, I'm about to make an album, bro. I'm about to make an album for real.
Facts. With 7, we're getting back to that nuance of just being able to just have it on in any setting. Like, you have a song called Leave Me Alone with Harsh on it. And it's just a very, like, club banger style produced by Frank Rose. And you have songs like that.
And Greg goes off on
Goes
that joint.
crazy, bro. And he wanted to cut that verse because he, like, freestyled it. I'm like, nah, dog.
Nah, dog.
But I've been blessed with this album. I have to shout out my man Python P in LA, bro. He's Absol's producer. I linked with him out there, and he gave me this beat for track 2, which is called Free Throw. So he produced that. We recorded it out there. So, you know, I'm still been able to be blessed with other producers with this
Most
one.
definitely.
But I think 7's gonna. I think I'm underestimating it.
You are most definitely
I think I am,
underestimating
and I think we're gonna do the listening event on May 31st, and I think that it's gonna surprise me too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm excited for it, bro. I'm excited.
I think you are sleeping on it a little bit, which I think as an artist,
Yeah.
nobody wants to be like, well, let me take that back. A lot of people are like, it's the best shit I ever did, and give that whole spiel, but
Yeah.
it's like, it never lives up to the name. So I think, like, playing it safe is always good, but I'm telling you from the outside looking in, shit is phenomenal.
Damn. Thank you, brother.
So I hope you do get that, like, revelation of, like, seeing it firsthand and being like, oh damn, like this shit, it is what people are saying. So I really hope you get that for yourself, but nobody can do that except for you.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Only you can live in that spectrum. But speaking of, you know, May 31st, we got a big event coming up.
Yes, sir.
Charged Up Fest.
Charged Up Fest.
Charged Up Fest.
Yeah, May 30th through June 1st.
Talk
June
about
2nd. My homie Noah, man, the whole Charged Up community, he's been putting that work in, bro. And it's more so about community than it is about rappers and look at me. Me and Noah have been really partnering up on this community stuff, giving back, not asking for anything. And this event is the culmination of that, man. He's providing opportunities, bringing in artists from all over the country. So we're gonna be a part of that. You know, you if you saw the Noah interview, you know the timeline. But I do want to add that Saturday, June 1st, we're hosting a love exchange.
Let's go!
Yes, during the block party. If you don't know, Love Exchange is
the best fucking event around. If you ever heard about it, if you never heard about it, it's the best event around.
Let
me tell y'all firsthand, this shit is a community event.
Yes.
It's a donation event. Anything you can provide, take it at all favors. It doesn't matter. Bring you out. Bring yourself out. Bring everything out.
Facts.
We're here for the community.
Yeah, we're giving back, bro. We're giving back, man. I love it. Because he was at the last one, and that was his first time being there and seeing what we're doing. And, like, we blessed so many people. Like people were
bro.
coming and able to just get clothes and food and just necessities, bro. So that's what we're doing during the block party from 12 to 4. I'm also performing at that block party. And then
Talk about it!
I'm gonna go off, you know what I'm saying? And then that night, there's a producer's cup going on, and Profound 79's up, and I'm gonna perform with him that night too. And then I'm gonna play in the community basketball game on Sunday, and we're gonna be outside. Come see us, man.
I really
come find
don't
us.
think y'all understand the magnitude of like what's going to happen. It's gonna be one of those things that if you miss it, you're definitely going to look back on it and be like, damn, I should have went to that. There's so
Yeah.
many free events.
Yeah.
There's some ticketed events. The tickets are worth it. It's not overpriced.
No.
For what you're getting, it's absolutely incredible. The
Yeah.
entire state of Virginia
Yeah.
is gonna be at all of these days,
Mm-hmm.
man. So like, if you truly get an opportunity to like pop out for a day, pop out for 30 minutes, whatever, it's gonna be so worth your time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Obviously, the grand finale concert is what it is.
Stally, bro. Like what?
Stally.
Like what?
So
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody remembers. I gave Stally a copy.
I remember we ran into him.
We ran into him
Bro,
right outside the Norva.
Bro, he was wearing some Air Max 89s, the purple and teal joints, and I remember specifically going to buy those shoes because I saw him wearing them joints. Like he had Stally's a fashionable guy, but I remember, bro. So full circle moment. It's gonna be so dope that he's there, bro.
It's gonna be so dope.
So dope. I also want to add.
Yeah.
I also want to add that this event that's happening. If you're an artist or a creative and you're like trying to figure out how to get through that threshold, come to this event. There's gonna be over like 50 to 100 media platforms, just like this one,
Bro.
to where you can just come and meet them and get your name across and you can get heard. Yo. Like this is the perfect time to network. It ain't gotta be all this industry shit. You just come hang out and just shake hands with people and meet people. Like,
And I promise you, I already have a folder dedicated to Charged Up Fest. I am trying to meet as many people as I can, take as
That's what
much
it's about.
music as
Yeah.
I can, take as much contact information. Like, this event is going to be filled with people who just love music.
Yeah.
This shit is not on some industry shit. I'm telling you, this whole shit is about community.
Facts.
And just building on what this great like foundation already is. It's just
Yeah.
building off of that, man. So
Yeah.
please come out.
pull up, man. If you see us, say something, man. Give us a hug. Give us some love. We'll do the same, man. We'll
Most
do the same.
definitely.
We'll
Like,
do the
we-
same.
I know I can speak confidently when I say me and CJ and everybody else that's involved, but we really love this shit.
Yeah.
We don't do this shit for anything other than the love and, you know, just meeting new people, creating with new people, sitting down, having different conversations. Like, this whole thing is truly built on community. And like,
Facts.
if you feel like you need somewhere to like fit in, and you know, if the energy is right, please come out for Charged Up Fest. I
Yeah.
promise you, it will change your life.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. Well, that's all I have. You got
Yeah.
anything else?
Man, thank you, bro. Again,
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
so proud of you, bro. It's so amazing to see you flourish and like really step into your purpose.
Absolutely.
Your purpose found you, and it's however I can help. I'm here for you, man.
Most definitely.
Thank you to all the fans, all the subscribers, yo. Go get all the Loosies. Go get evolved. Go get involved. Go help your community. Go help someone today. Go love on someone today, man. And you know, Blazing Lily is here, and you know,
We just chilling, man.
we just chilling. We just
just chilling.
You know, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to
Yeah.
y'all. Yeah.
For real though, shout out to everybody who you know, has ever reached out and has ever you know, let me know that, you know, because we do a lot of serious conversation, you know, on the podcast about mental health and about you know, just trying to, you know, navigate your way through situations that may be hard in life. So I really appreciate everybody that's reached out, all the subscribers. I don't do this shit for the views. I could care less. I do this shit, like I said, we do this shit because we love it. So I'm going to leave it there. This is the Fairly Decent Podcast. I'm Jason. That's CJ.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to catch you all on the next one.
Peace.